Hi, everyone. Martyn Wendell Jones here, Senior Associate Editor at the Bulwark. By now, you've probably seen a clip of Republican vice presidential candidate JD Vance making the rounds. This is the one where he says the United States is run by a bunch of childless cat ladies who, because they don't have children, don't have a direct stake in the future of the country.
Look, what I was basically saying is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
He since doubled down, telling former Fox host Megyn Kelly, "The substance of what I said, Megyn, I'm sorry, it's true."
I've got nothing against cats. People are focusing so much on the sarcasm and not on the substance of what I actually said. And the substance of what I said, Megyn, I'm sorry, it's true.
Lots of people have rightly slammed Vance for the open misogyny of his comment, as well as the heartlessness, considering how many people wish they could have children but can't for all sorts of reasons. But there's one aspect of what Vance said that I haven't really been able to get out of my mind, which is the style of his argument. It's obvious that anyone who's alive in the United States has a stake in its future, but Vance clearly isn't thinking about our lifetimes. He's got a bigger picture in mind, a civilizational frame, if you will.
The church thinks in centuries, Mr. Resendez.
This seems to be his natural intellectual register, and it represents what I like to call, with apologies to historian Richard Hofstadter, the galaxy-brained style in American politics. The thing is, Vance is hardly alone in using everyday politics as a springboard into the speculative and conceptual. In 1961, the historian Fritz Stern published a book that perfectly captured the revolutionary conservative mindset, a handy way to clock a figure like Vance. The key feature of this political style is substituting, as Stern writes, sociological or cultural analyses for political criticism. Vance himself has said he believes culture war is class warfare, and taking a page out of the Nixon playbook, he's used culture war talking points to appeal to working class voters while not actually advocating their interests. Consider the fact that as a senator, Vance got a score of 0% from the AFL-CIO on voting with working people. The galaxy brain style comes out in other ways too. It prefers the intuitive observation to the reasoned judgment. It is suspicious of facts and data, and it privileges the abstract, the categorical, and the high-handed. Does that sound like anyone you know?
It's basically saying is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies.
The galaxy brain style can be seen across the political spectrum, but the people who find it most appealing seem primarily to belong to the hyper-online community of the new right. Lots of them are, like Vance, part of the Peter Thiel nexus of influence and beneficence. One of Vance's pals in this group is Curtis Yarvin, taken by his followers to be an esoteric philosopher heralding dark enlightenment. In truth, Yarvin is a crank in a leather jacket who believes America should be run like a corporation, headed by a combination dictator startup founder who has absolute power over his subjects. Very cool, Curtis. James Lindsay, the famous anti-critical race theory activist, also typifies the galaxy brain style. Like Vance, he tried to get in a bizarre dig at Vice President Harris. She has this endearingly goofy line she often incorporates into public remarks.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
To see what can be unburdened by what has been.
She's clearly earnest about seeing possibilities for the United States that might take us beyond our heavy historical baggage. It makes a lot of sense. But if you think that, you must have taken the blue pill, because Lindsay can see the deeper truth she's trying to communicate with this expression. As he writes, it's esoteric, occult, Marxist, and Luciferian. The last time I heard a combination of words like that, a Dutchman in a suburban Holland pub was arguing, on the basis of documents he claimed to have in his attic, that the Roman Emperor Constantine was still alive or something. I never really got to the bottom of that one either. The incredibly endearing thing about these guys is that they seem to think these sorts of arguments and claims will appeal to American voters, even the ones who haven't had their brains completely poisoned by living on the internet. That's quite a reach, considering the country's signature contribution to the history of philosophy is literally called pragmatism. As a friend put it, it's basically trying to manufacture votes with a machine that only makes upvotes. Content aside, I have sympathy for the galaxy brain style. In other contexts, I find the deep guy in the dorm shtick appealing and, sort of nostalgic. But I can't imagine building an American electoral political movement on such a speculative basis, especially when the speculative part is being used to justify alarming restrictions on the rights and freedoms of American citizens. The prominence of the galaxy brain style in American politics today does signal one thing. it's worth thinking about. The assumptions of liberal democratic politics have been forced open to new challenges from all quarters. This openness to political possibilities can be bracing, engaging, even thrilling, but at some point, voters plant their feet back on the ground and return to the idea of politics as the art of the possible. And I hope that will make the scaling of Vance's ideology as a practical matter impossible. Thanks for watching, and for more on this topic, check out my article for the Bulwark.